The Mentalist is filled with charm, jokes, and mind games. But underneath all that, it's built on loss, pain, and some of the heaviest moments in any crime series. Today, I'll go over every single time the show made us cry, starting with Devil's Cherry. In Devil's Cherry, Patrick Jane accidentally drinks a tea with Belladonna and hallucinates his late daughter, Charlotte. While hallucinating, she helps him to crack the case they're working on. This entire episode is heavy. Just watching how Jane treats her, even though she isn't real, is just so sad. By the middle of the episode, Charlotte is sitting on a table and advises Jane to stop obsessing about Red John, since his death would not change anything.
To be honest, Dad, your obsession's a little creepy and weird, you know?
I do it all for you and your mom.
There's nothing that you can do for us. We don't give a damn what happens to Red John. I mean, we're dead. Gone. You need to start dealing with that.
She jumps down, and Jane finds the last clue to solve the case. Charlotte then tells her father that it is time for her to go. She says that she loves him and leaves, and this moment is one of the saddest in the entire series.
Well, hang on, where are you going? You're coming back.
I love you, Dad. Hey, Jane?
No, not now. Wait.
We know how much Charlotte's death haunts Jane, so watching him plead with an imaginary Charlotte and then losing her again is gut-wrenching. It's a very raw, fan-favorite scene. However, what's even more sad is that at the end of the episode, we see Jane preparing tea in his room, sitting and drinking it, hinting that he made more Belladonna tea just to hallucinate Charlotte again. It's an insanely heavy but silent scene that just breaks you down. And if that didn't make you tear up, you should watch the Red Mile episode. The Red Mile features Dr. Francis Steiner, a kindly coroner friend of the CBI. He wasn't the biggest fan of Jane's tricks.
3 steps back, please.
What?
Please maintain a distance of at least 3 steps from the body.
Why?
Because this body is a no-Jane zone.
However, when Jane visits him, Steiner reveals he's terminally ill and wants to end his life on his own terms. He asks Jane to witness it, so no autopsy will be needed. Jane initially refuses, but eventually stays to help. The two share a quiet, intimate moment. Jane performs his coin trick to distract Steiner as he passes away peacefully.
It's there. And then it's gone.
It's heartbreakingly intimate, seeing Jane, who is always joking around, quietly comforting Steiner and makes his last moments peaceful. Steiner's choice to die peacefully rather than suffer is sad on its own, but Jane's quiet performance in that scene makes it truly painful to watch. I have mentioned this episode many times for how great it is. There's even a separate video on it if you want to check it out after this one. However, this time I'm not talking about Panzer or Red John. I'm talking about Panzer's first victim, Molly Meyer. When Jane goes to Molly's parents to ask for questions, they allow him to check her room, which has been intact from the day she died. While snooping around, Jane finds a DVD where we can see Molly practicing her ballet dances. The song in the background is by Louis Armstrong called What a Wonderful World. Jane shows it to Molly's dad, who watches in silence as his precious daughter, long dead, dances on screen.
Once she decided she wanted to do something, there's no stopping her.
This moment is insanely heavy. Jane quietly leaves the room, and the camera lingers on this devastated father, lost in bittersweet memories. It's painfully sad. Watching that video, the dad is smiling at first, until realizing it's a memory he can never relive. And what's even more brilliant, later in the episode when Jane visits Panzer, he finds that exact song playing on Panzer's iPod while they just stare each other down. Jane realizing that Panzer is the killer, and Panzer realizing that Jane knows. It's truly brilliant and haunting, and I recommend you watch this episode on your own, but this next moment is even more chilling. This episode is dark from the beginning. While investigating a case in a forest, Jane gets dragged in a lake and literally begins to drown. After a few moments, we see Lisbon trying to look for Jane, and eventually finds him unconscious in the lake.
Jane, come on!
No.
It's an insane scene. We don't know if Jane is alive or not, or what's even going on. She screams for help, they try to reanimate Jane, and eventually they bring him back to life. However, later in the hospital, Teresa notices that Jane has lost his memory. What's crazy here is that Jane still thinks that he's just a con man, the man he was before Red John. The entire episode is Jane being cocky, not knowing anything that happened, plays tricks, and even does some crazy things. By the end of the episode, Jane comes walking through the office with a girl on his arm. Lisbon notices that the girl is wearing a lot of nice jewelry, and realizes Jane kept the stolen money from the case. Tired of Jane's dishonesty and cons, Lisbon decides to take him to his house. She leads Jane to the door and he opens it nervously, seeing the red smiley signature of Red John. In this moment, Jane starts to get his memory back, reliving his trauma again, and all Lisbon can say is,
I'm sorry.
It's a chilling moment watching how Jane is actively reliving everything he went through that night. Imagine how hard it is to live through something like that once, but then you have to go through it again. It's one of the darkest episode endings in the series, but if you want to know exactly how hard it was for Jane, you have to see this next moment. The plot of this episode isn't really sad and it doesn't have to do anything with Jane, however the ending is brutal. By the end of this episode, Rigsby becomes a father, and he sends a picture of his newborn son to the team. They gather together and everyone is happy for him while they look at the image. Jane says how Rigsby's son is gorgeous, smiles, and then walks away. Teresa notices that something is wrong, but doesn't say anything. We then see Jane walking away from the group, smiling but trying so hard not to cry. It was probably so hard for him, because he remembered how happy he was when he got the news that his daughter Charlotte was born. And every time someone mentions kids or his family, Jane's guilt comes crawling back, just like in the next episode. In the episode Seeing Red, we get so many gut-wrenching moments. This is the episode where we get introduced to Christina Fry, who presents herself as a psychic and is there to help the investigation. Jane is suspicious throughout the episode since he claims that there's no such thing as psychics. Throughout the episode, we get many scenes where Jane turns from this confident jokester to literally crying his eyes out. The first scene is his conversation with Grace.
Well, I know that seances are tools that con artists like Christina use to manipulate people.
It's really important to you that Christina's a fake, isn't it? If she does have a gift, everything you mock, everything you discredit, everything you stand for gets turned upside down. What if your family's looking down at you tonight from the seance? Trying to talk to you, but they can't, because you won't believe.
Well, that would be very sad.
When Grace goes too far, she apologizes and leaves.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
But then we see Jane's eyes start to tear up and his smile fades away. Later, when they catch the killer, Clara, she says that parents are supposed to protect their kids.
Parents are supposed to protect their kids.
This leaves Jane speechless. This one sentence is like a gut punch to him. He immediately feels guilty for not protecting his daughter. And for things to get even worse, at the end of the episode, Christina enters the office and asks to speak to Patrick in private. They find an empty interview room. Christina asks him to let her say something and not to interrupt. She tells him that his dead wife has made contact with her.
Your wife wants me to tell you that your daughter never woke up. She didn't know what happened. She wasn't scared, not even for a second.
After she leaves, he begins to cry. Van Pelt walks by the room and sees Patrick crying, and she closes the door. This was devastating to see, but it's even more sad to see what Jane does for the anniversary of his family's death. At the beginning of this episode, we see Jane visiting a familiar bar. He has a reservation, and the waitress asks him if he wants the usual, and Jane says yes. We then see the waiter bringing Jane 3 glasses of Bloody Mary, which is a classic cocktail made with vodka and tomato juice, flavored with various spices and seasonings. After he drinks 1 glass, the waiter brings another one. It's subtle, but we all know that Jane has drinks to toast his lost family. There are no words or anything, just him drinking for Charlotte and Angela, and one for himself. You can see him staring into the distance. The scene is a beautiful, heartbreaking symbol of family and loss. In this episode, Jane unexpectedly reunites with Danny Ruskin, the brother of his late wife, Angela. Danny's been living with anger and grief ever since Red John killed Angela. In a tense moment, Danny unloads all that pain on Jane. He flat out blames Jane for Angela's death. Jane admits here that Angela didn't like the carny life and that she wanted out of that. And then Danny says that Jane got her killed.
She didn't want the carny life. She hated it. She wanted to get out. We escaped together.
Nice escape plan, bro. You got her killed.
Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, you just had to be a big shot. You had to get on the TV and run your mouth. It's your fault she's dead.
Yes. I know that. It is my fault.
Jane admits that it is all his fault, that simple acceptance of blame while fighting back his own guilt. It's one of the most gut-wrenching exchanges. It's a hard watch. Seeing someone remind Jane of his guilt, how it breaks him, it's devastating. By the end of the episode, Danny and Jane visit Angela and Charlotte's graves. This leaves Jane staring at the graves with tears in his eyes. In the episode Every Rose Has Its Thorn, we meet Erica Flynn, who works as a matchmaker, bringing people together. While Jane tries to crack the case and prove that Erica is in fact the killer, he asks for Erica to find him a partner. The way she does this is to first record a video, something like an interview, while asking Jane some personal questions about his perfect partner. At the end of the episode, Teresa finds this video on Jane's laptop, and here's what he had to say.
I'm looking for someone I can trust. Someone strong, someone better than me. Someone who knows the worst side of me and still loves me.
Sounds like an amazing woman.
She was.
The moment he said she was, we know he's talking about his wife, Angela. It's a bittersweet moment, knowing that it's sad that she was killed, but how nicely Jane is talking about her. Now, to move focus away from Jane for a moment, let's talk about the death of Michelle Vega. If you don't know, she's an FBI rookie introduced in the 7th season. While investigating a case, Vega gets shot and killed. This alone is sad, but what I wanted to mention here is how Cho reacts. Throughout the series, we rarely saw any emotions from Cho. He is the stoic, poker face, serious guy. However, in Season 7, Cho is supervising and leading Michelle, so when she died on his watch, the guilt he felt was insane. The saddest moment in this episode is when Cho has to inform Michelle's family that she passed. It's a long scene where Cho is breaking down, crying, and then gets his act together and makes the phone call. It is so emotional and raw. That is going to be it for this video. If you want me to make a part 2, or if you want me to make other videos about this amazing show, drop a comment and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.